Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
Marcus T. Jones Jr.
an inmate at Florida Correctional Institution. To accept charges, press 1. Thank you. You may start the conversation now.
I've been charged up lately, like the energy for college basketball. No matter where I'm at, you can come and see AA batteries don't power up my perceptions. Only the realities of my environment can do that. I remember when mad cow disease first hit, the country not knowing that this instrument has been plaguing our continent behind the fence, where governors in Florida like to keep their blue devils. See, mad cow disease is a disease that affects cattle, damaging brain tissue in the process. This disease causes a real dis-ease in a place society expects the least, where the currency isn't big green faces, it's human bodies. To inspect the least, spread cheeks to inspect the teeth, then squat deep, cough, release the cheeks, and taking an inmate is how pockets increase in Florida state. That's how they get that mean green. The minute men found out it was a money thing, politicians and businessmen turned to prison privateers, pioneers of the new slave trade. Minorities have been repeating through these semesters for centuries because we just keep getting effed. And since there ain't no Trojans in here for protection, this dis-ease getting the population sicker because most of us in here see what's going on. America sees it too. That's why the few keep fighting for freedom, even though we're outnumbered and outpowered, because we feel if the U.S. sees Spartans instead of inmates, then maybe we'll gain some volunteers to bankrupt this business before we all go insane. People losing their minds in here. I'm in a place where revolutionaries and rebels lose their pride, get buck-eyes when they see an inmate die. You want to see a trailblazer shimmer out from being a beacon of light? Put him in a sea with gators and sharks, where the blood dripping from spill and knife fights doesn't come in waves, it comes in crimson tides. I'm in a place where wolves and wolverines can get turned into kittens unless they join the wolf pack. I've seen some wild cats become docile after putting two animals in a room together. Seems like DOC's snack is to bear cats, giving birth to pussyfooters who dodge smoke. These bobcats is what the system loves to see. It marks the peace that's in sharp contrast to battles during prison yard jaguars. It's easier to turn tigers to cats and then make them think that a cat amounts to nothing. I'm in a place where the same book that gets thrown at its tenants doesn't get read in law libraries. If it did get read, we would have read the Raiders don't have the right to infringe on certain rights we still have. We would have read hawks aren't split up to a random piece of land on the outskirts of society. We would have read birds aren't meant to be caged, we're flyers. It's not often you see hawks in cages like this, or ducks turning to Quakers simply because they're losing their mind to the shockers that come from prolonged incarceration. I'm in a place where saints fall victim to the cardinal sins of prison life until they turn into blue demons. I'm talking men who have seen so many black nights that anytime they see man embrace light, they consider them sun devils. I had a roommate like that one time, called Preacher Man, a demon deacon who fell in love with that cocoa. He had a life sentence, and eventually mixing weed and cocaine made him go cuckoo after cocoa puffs from the flames put to his Bible paper. It made my mind wonder as I watched his mind bolt from reality, but I never had the nuts to tell him to his face he got some screws loose. Not out of fear, but understanding. Because daily it dawns on me that this dis-ease in the state's merch is a madness that started as a wave due to patriots like Lincoln, but now it's turned into cyclones that feed off the fast winds of hurricanes that work like crutches for slavery. It's a dark system where lightning doesn't come in golden flashes. But if we get off our asses, then the strikes from our pens can change the weather. Not just in Florida. I want the thundering herd from across the country. They feed off of our ignorance. But I'm trying to starve them to death before we die off first. Because there's no cure for mad cow disease. Its advanced stages will lead to death. But first, we'll suffer from symptoms like depression, anxiety, nervousness, and aggression. Hell, If that's the final four, then time is of the essence, because I see this disease in prison every day. What does that say about the mental state of the cattle behind these walls? Look around. We walk ourselves to slaughter every day in here. Every stabbing, every fight, every addiction, every drug sale, every act of gang violence, or even when we simply give up, we embrace the madness of this pandemic. These capitalistic cowboys obviously can care less about the mental health of its merchandise. The thing that matters to them most is the steady supply of fresh meat that keeps coming in. Young or old doesn't matter. Nowadays, the color is even starting to become irrelevant. As long as we remain oblivious to the infecting of the minds of our future for fortune at the expense of its cattle.